Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Been following the show for a while now and appreciate the educational content. My question is, this is a pretty interesting question. Can you take visitors, or can visitors take inmates' food of any kind during a visit or a conjugal visit? Have you ever heard of someone taking an inmate a bunch of edibles to eat during the visit and the inmates getting high?
Yeah. No, there's no food in the feds. You know, you got vending machines out there, and I never had a visit while I was in prison, in federal prison, so I don't know about bringing food in. I know when I was in California Youth Authority at fire camp, we could bring food in, and we actually had, you had visits, so it was cool. You can actually, you get what they call it, like a furlough, where you can go out during the day, you know, like on a Sunday, and hang out to this town and eat and stuff like that. So that was actually kind of cool, man. That's actually was a positive experience. But you know, in the feds, you can't bring any food, and there's no conjugal visits. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, when they do fed time, there's no conjugal. In the state, you know, I've heard that, you know, they do have conjugal from what I understand, and I heard you can get packages at some places as far as certain food items, and so you can have stuff sent in from the streets, but. In the feds, they don't have any of that, and so you don't have to worry about getting any edibles or anything like that. Now, at the camps, I'm not sure if you can bring food into their federal camps or state camps. I'm not sure. You know, I know the camps are a lot more laid back. The visiting is a lot more laid back. A lot of shit goes down there, so it might be a little bit different as far as the policy of bringing food. But in the feds, there is no conjugal visits anywhere. But, you know, people are still getting it on in there.
When I first read this question, I was like, why would you even want to take edibles or even try to take edibles to someone that's locked up? Like, why would you put yourself in that position? And that's why I wanted to basically cover this question, because if you're thinking about trying to sneak edibles in to visiting just to get someone high, you're pretty fucking retarded.
Well, this is the thing. It's probably the person inside telling them to bring it in so that they can pass it on and sell them. So it's a racket. See, most of the drugs being brought in, you know, per se visiting is not because the person on the street wants to help. You know, it's because they're told to bring it in for somebody on inside, because that person is getting visits, and therefore he has to either, you know, he's in there getting his hustle on or providing for his clique, whatever the case may be. He's making moves in there, so he's you know, those edibles he's selling or slanging, or the drugs, whatever. So that's how that's all tied in. Because like the individual on the street, I mean, why would you care about bringing, you know, whether it be marijuana or, you know, coke or, you know, whatever the case may be, to prison for somebody, for them to actually enjoy themselves getting high?
Well, the way that I read it was that they wanted to bring it to the person they were visiting so that person could get high specifically. But it's just like, dude, why? I'm sure they can get weed on the inside anyways. So now you're putting yourself at risk of catching a case. You know, trying to sneak drugs in. Yeah,
it would be pretty stupid. I mean, but, you know, people do stupid stuff in there. I mean, you know, you got – and the thing is, in visiting, when you go to visiting, a lot of times, right after visiting, they'll piss test you. So, if your piss test comes back dirty and you had just had a visit, then they'll try to put one and one together and figure, hey, man, maybe somehow you got a hold of something at visiting. So that could lead to an investigation. So all that stuff, you know, it ties in, and then they're listening to phone calls, and sometimes they'll let you try to like bring some shit in, and they'll bust you, you know, I've heard of people getting busted in the parking lot, you know, trying to bring stuff in. You know, they've been listening to the phone calls, and you think you're talking code, and they, you know, they'll decipher that shit and basically set your ass up, because, you know, you come into an institution, you sign certain things, and you subject yourself to certain rules and policy. And if, you know, if they search certain things and find it, then, you know, you can get caught up.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.